Hi, and welcome to the Wildling Podcast. My head is in so many places right now that I could not even think of that. That's awesome. I am kind of, as usual, not kind of, I am, as usual, on a time crunch. So today I want to talk about entities, but I guess it's going to be mostly focused on the more negative ones. And because this can be such a big topic, as usual, I might have to do more than one episode on this. And I actually had asked on TikTok if anybody had any specific questions or inquiries when it comes to this kind of topic, but unfortunately, it didn't actually upload until right before I started to record this. So I didn't even really get a chance to see if anybody was curious. Whoops. But again, I'm probably going to have to make another episode on this anyway. And I just want to be clear that this isn't going to be from a religious perspective, and this isn't going to be like a this is absolutely how it is and totally set in stone. This is nuanced, and it is something that is pretty complex, but also I don't want to discount anyone's beliefs. That's definitely not the intention either. And this is not to freak people out. Also, I it's really just possibility. When it comes to spiritual stuff, it really has to be mostly about potential and possibility because so much cannot be proven. So it is pretty much impossible to say this is the absolute truth. How do you know that for sure? Right? And I also like to leave room for changing your mind, for learning something new, for new experiences. So let's not make it seem like this is like set in stone and the only way to be. My hair is distracting me. What is going on? It looked better yesterday. I was gonna film yesterday, did not have time. So here we are. Anyway, I gave myself some bullet points because I really have so much to cover and maybe not enough time. But anyway, so let's start with the fact that everything is made up of energy. I'm sure pretty much everyone has heard of that by now. Don't need to go really into more detail on that, right? And that also isn't really, I did do an episode on energy, but that was kind of different. And I do need to do another. I don't know if the mic picked up on that, but something just fell. So the timing of that is wild. Um, love that for me. Anyway, yeah, I do need to do another episode on energy because that is so much to cover. But anyway, this is really working with energy and spiritual stuff. And I guess if you don't believe in any of it at all, then this is probably not going to be for you. If you're open-minded about things and like, well, I'm curious, that's a good place to be. At least just be open-minded and curious about things, particularly when it comes to spiritual anything, because there's a lot of new agey crap out there. A lot of it's regurgitated information, and then there's a lot of spiritual stuff, a lot of religious stuff. There's just a lot. So let's not pretend that one person has all the answers to everything, even if they have spiritual gifts. That doesn't mean that they're perfectly right about everything all the time. In fact, a medium is a medium. That means they are like the person in between the worlds. They can get things wrong. They can misinterpret something, or they can be passing along information that isn't even relevant yet, but it will be, or It's just there's got to be room for errors is basically what I'm saying here. All right. So let's dive in with this part. Energy work and light work is very important, and it does play a part into this topic as well because the higher your vibrations are, and it doesn't mean that you have to be happy all the time. That is not realistic. But also the awareness of when you are in a funk, when you are just not okay, or if you're going through something really difficult, that doesn't mean that you have to try to bypass all of that. It is normal, but you still need to have that awareness of being able to say, yeah, I'm not okay right now, but I'm not going to let this take over me. Because unfortunately, if you want to look at it from a spiritual perspective and negative entities perspective, potentials, they love that shit. They will absolutely feed off that shit. And so also kind of have that potential there of, okay, well, if I can't pull myself out of this, it can get worse. I can end up doing something, saying something that I don't actually want. It doesn't actually align with me. It doesn't really align with who I am. That is something to keep in mind because if you've got something around you, it's like, the old, do you remember the old cartoons of like the angel and devil on each shoulder and one's trying to tell you to do good and be good and the other's trying to influence you to do bad and be bad? It's kind of like that, really. And there are influences around us, and people are easily influenced. If people were not easily influenced, cults wouldn't exist, religion wouldn't exist, uh, mob mentality wouldn't exist, and influencers wouldn't exist, celebrity worship wouldn't exist. Like all of these things would have never really been a thing, and they are all major. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure people can be easily influenced, and there's science to back that up. And I will just do that dedicated episode on that kind of thing. But for now, yes, people can absolutely be influenced on things, and that includes if you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective. And you can be negatively influenced, and you can also be positively influenced. So, even though this is supposed to be more on the negative side, I just need to say that if you are feeling your intuition or a push in a protective manner, listen to that. It is so important to listen to that because it could be your own intuition, it could be divine intervention. Don't ignore that because as much as you can be influenced on harmful stuff, you can also be getting that push to something that can help you. So don't ignore that. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where the bad has overtaken the good. It's not hard to see that. And when it comes to like a heaven or hell thing, I listen. From what I have seen, I have not seen evidence of either of those things in the way that it is taught in religion. In fact, hell, this is the closest to hell that I have seen and experienced and really heard about evidence of. And also, if you think about it, what place could possibly be worse than a world where children are being harmed in such a way that even though they are so innocent, they're being abused, they're being murdered, they're being enslaved, they're being trafficked. Like all of these horrific things are happening to innocent children. That's hell. And women, and I can say this as a woman, obviously, we are, we have been preyed on for a very long time. And there, like, you can't go anywhere that's safe. It's not safe in your own home. It's not safe to go for a walk. It's not safe to go to a store, like anywhere. And that is the unfortunate reality of living in this society, in this world. So, yeah. Anyway, war, people starving, drugs. There's so many things here that you can't deny that there's a lot of evil here. And you don't have to look at it as evil in a religious perspective. And that's the other thing that I need to address. I might say some words, but I don't want you to get caught up in the word itself. Even though if I say demonic, that doesn't necessarily mean demon from a religious perspective. It's just something I would rather use it in a term of something that is negative, a negative energy, a negative entity, a negative spirit, if you will. It's negative. It's evil. It's that, okay? It's just easier to say demonic. Um, yeah, so different words might come up where it might trigger you in a way, and that is also overused, but it might hit in a way that it just isn't landing. So you can change the word to something that feels better for you. And I don't want you to feel like just because I'm saying it that way, that it's kind of turning you off of the overall messaging here, I guess, or topic, the conversation. And unfortunately, even just using the word demonic, demon, things like that, that is a word that a lot of people are just going to automatically correlate to religion, and a lot of people have religious trauma. I'm not trying to bring that up for anyone either. Hopefully it doesn't. But anyway, let's move on. So energy work, let's go back to that real quick, is very important because we are energetic beings. There's so much energy in this world and beyond that it really does matter when you are working with your own energy, and the energy around you matters as well. There are a lot of people who are highly sensitive to energy, and then other people who really aren't sensitive to it at all. I don't know where you're at on the spectrum, but if you can get into energy work, it can be such a good thing. And not only because we're always dealing with energy and we are a part of energy, but even just to help protect yourself and to help lift yourself up. It is a difficult world that we live in. We need that added protection. We need that added boost. So get into some energy work, and I can do more of an episode on that. But basically, even if it's just the baseline of working on raising your vibrations, there's so many videos, YouTube videos, Spotify, like I feel like so many platforms now have these it's not tutorials, but like the videos that can take you through high frequency, what are they called? Oh, I can't think of the word. Oh, that's so annoying. High frequency music, it's tones. What is it? I can't think of it. Bilateral beats. Binaural beats. Binaural beats. I think that's how you say it. There's videos on that, and you can do meditations, you can do shamanic journeying, you can do so many things. Okay, whatever floats your boat. And something else is very important. If you can safely and if you're able to, grounding is very important. Getting out, getting your bare feet on the earth. You want to get your feet in the grass, in the dirt, in the sand, whatever, and just really connect. We don't do that anymore, and that's not great for us. So do some grounding, also called earthing. And it's even better if you take that time to really visualize and not just do it and be distracted or not even think about it. It's just, it really amps it up when you take that moment to really connect and do an energy work where it's like, and you can look that up too, a grounding, 15-minute grounding, 10-minute grounding, whatever, and someone can guide you through it. But Really, it boils down to visualizing your feet being planted on the earth and the negative energy moving out of your body down through the bottom of your feet and positive light energy coming in from through the top of your head and all throughout your body. And just saying, like, one of the things that I like that I've heard is saying something like, to the ground I am bound. And um, yeah, it's just really connecting with nature and spiritual at the same time. And you are just moving through the energy. Um, find one that you really like, one that really connects well with you, because if you're listening to something you're like, that sounds absolutely ridiculous, obviously that's not going to go great. It's not going to be anything like something that actually feels good for you. You can make up your own thing. You can just visualize it happening, and that's that. If you live in the city and it is not even possible to get your feet on the ground anywhere, or it's not safe, or whatever the case may be, you can still try to do this in your house and just have your feet on the ground and still try to visualize connecting to the earth. Also, of course, weather matters too. But anyway, so just look into different kinds of light work and energy work. And a lot of people also like to do shielding. That's amazing. I'm gonna just have to make another energy video, but cord cutting is also important because that is like an energy thing as well. And it's basically severing ties between you and others, whether you realize it or not. That is going into this whole other thing. But just know that there are these things available, and I will try to do another episode dedicated more to that. I just don't have enough time right now to really go into it for this. And it's really easy to look up as well. So there's some suggestions for that. Also, when it comes to negative energies, and I don't want to offend anyone here, in my experience, sage, Palo Santo, things like that, they're great, but they don't get rid of negative energy. It might help, but these these beings are not going to just leave and go away and never come back based off of smoke, even if it is sacred. I'm not saying that it won't work because other things are involved in the methods, but the sage itself, I haven't noticed anyone having great success with that, and that being the only thing that was used. I feel like when it is successful, it is used along with other methods. And your own, listen, free will is everything, okay? Free will is kind of to our detriment sometimes. Not kind of, it is. It is to our detriment sometimes. And your free will absolutely matters. So don't think that you can't use your free will and tell these things like, bitch, I'm not the one. Fuck off. You don't have to say it like that. But it's your free will. If you don't want to deal with this shit, then you take your power back and don't deal with the shit. There are methods to put in place to get rid of something. If you feel like you've got negative shit around you, negative attachments, then you have to use your free will, and these methods or whatever methods that you find are really helpful for you, or having someone that you can trust that does this kind of work and can help you. Don't get scammed though, okay? There are a lot of people out there that somehow make money off of doing such things, and it's not even effective. So make sure it's somebody that is effective and that you can trust. And don't be terrified in the meantime, because that's only going to amp up shit that's feeding off of your energy. They love fear. Listen, as someone who can feel energy, fear is very palpable. You don't want to give them more ammo. You don't want to give them more fuel for their bullshit, okay? So don't be scared in the meantime. It's your free will, so don't don't just sit in your own fear of what is going to happen to you while you're waiting for help. You also need to be your own hero. So don't give your power away. You have the power, so use it. Also, crystals are not going to totally, they have their own awesome qualities, but it's really not like you can take out your crystal and it's just banished. I wish it were that easy because everybody would just be able to have a crystal and be done with it. All right. Let me see. Where am I at? I didn't say like the theories of where these negative entities come from or what they are. One of the theories that I actually think is so interesting is that a lot of demons, maybe even all demons, were once human. And if you think about it, that actually really kind of checks out. And so I personally feel like that potential is there. Maybe not for all of them, but for a lot of them or some of them, it checks out. And I don't mean like just some ghosts. I feel like ghosts are a different thing. So let's not get them mixed up into this. Ghosts are a different thing. And negative entities, I I'm a medium of sorts. I do not feel like I am, I hate to name drop, but like Tyler Henry is a known celebrity medium. He seems so sweet and so amazing. I don't think I'm a medium like that. Um, I don't even know what kind of a medium I would be, to be honest. But anyway, the things that I have experienced and seen and dealt with has been passed on loved ones and getting the confirmation of talking to that person that that's that was their person. That's awesome. I love that. But then dealing with the negative stuff as well, not great. But I've seen a lot of things that look and feel very different. I have not seen where it's like this one thing all the time, like a little red devil with horns and a forked tongue and uh, tail. Like I have never even seen that, but I have seen ones that all vary. They vary, and that actually kind of makes sense. So, is that because that's what they want to present themselves as? Because I do think that they can shapeshift, and this is my own opinion, but it's also theories. I think that they can shapeshift. It makes sense that they would be able to do that. They can present as a little child to play off your empathy and sympathies. Makes sense, right? That doesn't mean that if you see like a ghosty child, that that's exactly what that is. It could actually be a ghosty child. It really depends on context. But anyway, I don't know how much people want to know about that, to be honest. So I don't know how detailed, I guess, I want to get on that. So let me just say, if there's any specific questions, inquiries, I'm going to extend that to this, to you guys, this platform, whatever. Ask, ask. All right. It's more fun that way anyway. So yeah, there's different kinds. I haven't exactly learned the origins of where or what, but I also feel like, again, my own personal experiences and beliefs is that souls are not from one particular place or the exact same place. I feel like we're from different places. We're not only different ages, technically, even though you know, time is its own thing. It's non-linear. It's a man-made construct here, like all these things, blah blah blah. Well, I I think, yeah, different ages, different locations, different gods, if you want to say it that way, different beings, so many different beings in the positive and the negative side of things. And the negative ones, like that's just they are what they are. You know, sometimes it's actually not sometimes you can look at it as a better thing, a better scenario if they bring something to your attention to try to hurt you, but you're able to realize, wait, you little fucker, you just saved me from that. So joke's on you because you actually helped me. Like you hurt me. Yes, but now I know. So there can sometimes be a positive spin on it. And again, don't let anything take your power away. Um, where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So we're from different places. I haven't seen just like a heaven in the sense of what religion says it is, just in the same way that I haven't seen hell in that manner either. I have seen like a demon cave, if you want to like I feel like that's a great description of it. But that wasn't hell. It was like a hangout. Okay? And the negative, because of the state of things here, has definitely taken over the positive. So it's like we have to work extra, extra hard to be good, to do good, and to try to stay in a positive vibe. It's fucking difficult at this point. So that's fun for us. Anyway, there's been a huge push on the side of the negative energy for a very long time. We know that, right? Like you can just look at history and tell that. So don't think that I'm just saying that this is a recent development. It's been ongoing successfully, unfortunately. But now we have the internet to talk about these things and to bring awareness to these things. And even if it sounds woo-woo as shit, at least it's maybe giving people some hope, maybe helping people, maybe enlightening them. If nothing else, like why is it a bad thing to just talk about these potentials and possibilities and to realize that you have power, you have free will, and you can do work to get into a better state? That's not a bad thing. Anyway, this is gonna sound so fucking familiar, a lot of this stuff. Um, I don't even know if I want to talk about that part. I'll come back to that note. Negative entities are opportunists. So people that are in a fragile state, people that are more easily influenced, people that hold a lot of anger or other negative emotions, of course. Egoic people like narcissists, addicts, particularly if you, or even if you're not an addict, but you recreationally do drugs, drink alcohol. These are all ways to assist the negativity. Even if you're just drinking alcohol for fun, you're kind of inviting shit to fuck with you, to feed off you, to try to influence you. Same with even plant medicines, like weed, okay? You're in an altered state. They love that shit. The worst, uh, I said that wrong. The worse your mental health state, the more it's practically an invitation. So let me be clear again. That doesn't mean that you're gonna just, that's not giving your power away. That's not to say that if you have mental health struggles, including depression, anxiety, stress, PTSD, CPTSD, things like that, that doesn't mean that you are fucked. There are still things that you can do to protect yourself and to try to elevate your energy. Also, certain medications can hinder, unfortunately. If they are hindering your emotions, that fucks with you on so many levels, so just be careful with that anyway. And it really makes it hard for people. If you're numbing out, that's probably not a great thing. I'm not saying it's a terrible thing, but if you ever were to stop doing that, you're gonna get flooded with stuff that you were trying to mask for a long time, and it can get so overwhelming. Oh God. So definitely have some support with that. Don't ever be afraid to ask for support and ask for help going through any of this. If you are someone that is going to be, maybe we could say, more susceptible, then get support from somebody that you can trust. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're supposed to be good on community. We just got really bad at it. Frequency and high vibes absolutely matter and make a difference. And let's say that there are a lot of people that kind of run the world that know this and they took full advantage because also opportunists. And maybe they were under some negative influence, some demonic influence, besides the fact that they're just fucking demonic on their own. Who knows? Could be both. Could be one or the other. But if it worked and it's a thing, a lot of experiments have happened and you can just neuroscience has shown a lot and they've used it for advertising, they've used it for so much. Like people are easily influenced and you can be manipulated. So, unfortunately, that has been a thing. And also music change, music frequencies have changed. Something to just be aware of. And a lot of people love sound healing because of the frequencies of it, and it feels good and it's nice. So, yeah, if you want to look into sound healing, that's definitely not a bad thing. But I'm just trying to, I guess, reiterate in a very difficult way because I'm very tired and I'm feeling the time crunch that you want to try to raise your vibrations and understand that frequency and vibrations are a big fucking deal. So don't ignore that. And again, don't ignore your free will either. And I already mentioned the intuition and divine intervention, which could feel one and the same. But I want to say again, because I don't know if I really kind of reiterated, even if it feels like, let's say you have a somewhere to be, but you just randomly remembered something like, oh wait, I need to give my cat more water before I go. Obviously, you're not going to just leave your cat without water. You want to make sure they've got enough for the day. So you give your cat the water and then that maybe you dropped it and then you have to clean that up and then you fill up the bowl and that took up so much time that now you're running late. You were already late to begin with. Now you're extra late. And you might be pissed about that. But what if that was divine intervention? And if you hadn't done that, if you hadn't gone through all that, then you would have gotten in a massive car wreck. And it could have absolutely fucked your shit up. It could have mangled you. Like it could have been such a bad thing. But because you had followed that little inkling, like, oh, that's right, I need to give my cat some water. And then you spilled it, whatever. Like it could be little things like that that you don't realize. It was actually a good thing. It saved you from something terrible. So if some fuck shit like that is happening, don't just automatically be like, well, damn, what did I do to deserve this? Maybe it was actually a good thing. Or maybe it was bad ones fucking with you. Who knows? You should be able to tell the difference. Take a moment to check in. Like, did that feel like that was divine intervention? Did that feel like somebody just fucking with me? Or does it feel like it was just a thing? Because the more you learn to pay attention to your intuition, the better. But also, if you are getting any kind of intuition feedback, if you're getting any kind of inkling, like don't go in there, skip that today. And I don't mean like, I don't want to fucking go to work. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this shit. I hate work. This societal crap is stupid. Money is ridiculous. Like all these things that might be a little different. Check in with yourself. Like, what is the intuition of don't go to that place? Don't get on that flight. Or you turned off your alarm and you missed that flight and it turned out to be a good thing. Don't miss these inklings because there are so many people that have been saved because they listened to it. Maybe that is an angelic force. Maybe it's a divine intervention. Maybe it's just your influence. Maybe it's all of these things. What if it saves your life? What if it saves you from something traumatic? What if it saves you from getting extremely harmed? Listen to it, pay attention to it. So many people ignore it. So many people try to explain it away or push it off to the side. And unfortunately, a lot of times you realize, damn, if I only had listened. And then it's too late. So, and because there's more bad than good here, there are a lot of things that we have to be careful with, even without listening to intuition about it. It's just fucking natural. Like, you don't want to take a drink from a stranger. You don't want to get picked up by someone that you just met and that's your first date, or maybe even for several dates. Like, don't let them pick you up. You fucking drive to them so you can leave at any time. Don't put yourself in situations, and I'm not victim blaming here. I'm just saying that because of the world we live in, we have to take these extra precautions. And if your intuition starts nudging you, listen to it. Listen to it. And also take extra precautions with things. We gotta stop fucking around when it comes to our safety because we are really bombarded with so much bad. Don't live in fear, just live prepared. Okay, anyway. Hmm. Yeah, we also know that uh let's say influence from negative, we'll just say demons, fuck it, it's easier. Demons, temptation, influence, like getting you tempted. That is a thing. Maybe it's just that person being shitty, or maybe they're getting influenced by something else, because that can also be a thing. And you have to use your free will in your own power to be able to say, no, I'm not doing that. Like, you can start getting tempted into doing drugs or tempted into drinking too much, tempted into going home with the wrong person, tempted into hurting someone. You can get tempted into so much. You have to be able to say, no, I'm not doing that. You cannot just give into this shit and then expect to end up on the right side of things. And yes, we can see that a lot of people of power have done some horrible stuff, and more is finally coming out about that and proof about that, which is another reason why you shouldn't celebrity worship because look at all the stuff that has come out about what's really been going on. Luxury, ego, power, greed, addictions, overindulgence, too much lust, like, porn, objectifying people, cheating, lying, sexual assaults, all of those things. Like, this is stuff that is so prevalent. Tell me that's not fucking evil and demonic. Because I feel like that's one way to put it. And yeah, we can see a lot of powerful people end up being like that. A lot of rich people end up being like that. Well, because we live in a fucking evil ass place. Anything closer to hell, and I haven't experienced it. Like, this is hell, okay? Maybe not in the biblical sense, but This is a hellscape. Damn it. Anyway, some people are absolutely incapable of empathy or remorse. They just are. And so are negative entities, okay? And there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of similarities with people that just suck. They're just bad people. I am not one of those people, and maybe this is just my own opinion and experiences again, but I do not believe that everybody has good in them. I do not believe that everybody is capable of being a good person. I don't fucking believe that because some people are just bad. They are just evil. They relish in hurting other people. They are all about themselves. They have no remorse, no sympathy, no empathy. They love to hurt others. They want to be the ones on top. There's never enough for them. It's all about greed. They will never be satisfied. They will never have enough. They will never accomplish it. It's always going to be more, 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 more. Me, 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 me. Fuck everybody else. We see that a lot, right? And you can say the exact same things, really. Oh, and also trying to like influence people into some fuck shit. Yeah, we can also say the same things about demonic shit. They're demonic, even if they're just people. Well, which is why I feel like the theory of some like demons being humans checks out because a lot of people are fucking evil. And that's gonna definitely get played off of. And you know what else? Money doesn't bring out the bad in people. They can get influenced in a negative way, sure, but it tends to mostly bring out who they really are more than anything. So that money is not an inherently bad negative energy. It's just it's been used in a bad way. It's a tool, but it's not like it's inherently evil, if that makes any sense. I don't think I want to talk about that right now. I already said that. I already said that. Oh, let me just say too, though, something that I don't like about um like don't blame things on, oh well, I was demonically influenced or angelically influenced. Like you're still responsible for your own shit. So even if someone was influenced by negative energies, negative entities, or their own stuff they've got going on, or a combination, they still need to take accountability for their own actions. It, even if they were possessed, you can't. How many people would start using that as an excuse? How many people would start using that as an excuse? Like every single person that was a just a shitty person would start using that as their excuse. Oh, it was the demons. Oh, it was it was the negative forces. It was the demon. Take some fucking accountability. So that is something else. Like there have been people that have had no history of doing anything bad no matter how close it's like people have gotten to them, they've never been like, they had tons of red flags. That wasn't exactly a surprise. Or they were actually pretty abusive or whatever. And then all of a sudden, they kill their family and then themselves, and everybody's like, what? Where the fuck did that come from? Some people would say that that was a demonic kind of activity. You know what? Maybe. I'm not going to say definitely not. But I also don't want it to end up in a place where people just start using that as an excuse. And because shitty people it's already so hard to get them to take any accountability anyway. And they're not going to feel fucking remorse. Do I want to talk about that? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like how much I want to talk about right now, and I'm running out of time. Let me just finish what's on my list. Um, don't you love the fact that I don't edit things? I just keep it going. Oh, free will also affecting the other side. And I'm saying the other side is in like the soul realm, the spiritual realm, the afterlife. I'm just going to say the other side. Free will also matters there, very much so. Like, free will is to our own detriment. And I know I already said that, but again, like, it can be such a good thing, but it can also be a negative thing. But you really have full free will. And so you can choose when it comes to life, even like where you want to go, why. Um, oh God, there's just so much to it. But yes, free will includes when you're on the other side. And some people are, they do realize that they weren't a very good person because they weren't all bad. And they realize what I did really hurt people. And I feel so bad that I did that. Like they actually get that remorse. And they're seeing it from the other people's perspective. And they weren't able to really do that in life. And that happens too. That does happen too, where they have realized after it was really too late for the people here that they were awful to them and they traumatized them and they hurt them and they did something to them that that person is going to carry forever, but or at least as long as they're living, forever as far as their lifespan goes. Maybe beyond that, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes they still don't give a flying fuck. Demonic. But I also, again, with the accountability, like, and that's the whole mediumship realm too. Like, who takes accountability for how awful they were and who doesn't? And you know what would be the worst thing for people that are just straight up bad, or the ones that were bad, but they do have some good in them, is to have to feel how they made others feel. They never experience those kinds of feelings in life. If you don't have sympathy, empathy, remorse, if you don't feel bad for hurting other people, if you don't know how that actually affects someone, you cannot put yourself in their shoes. They quite literally can't make that connection. That's fucked. So if they do reach a point like that would be hell for them is having to feel and experience that because they never did in life or whatever. So honestly, that's awesome. They should absolutely feel it. But if they don't, it's unlikely that they're actually going to change and get better. And sometimes, even if it has happened in life where, let's say, sorry, I'm going to bring up an SA situation here. So there's your warning. If someone is raped in life and the person who did it doesn't see it as bad, which I promise you, a lot of them, if not most of them, don't see it as a bad thing. They don't think that that's even, a lot of people don't even think that that's what they did. And every victim is like, are you fucking kidding me? But a lot of them don't see it as rape. They don't see it as a bad thing. Like, there's so many excuses that can be made, so much just nonsense. But anyway, if they get put in a position where they're raped, that might be the moment where they're like, oh my God. I can't believe I did do that to someone else, and I can't believe I made them feel that way. I can't believe that I hurt them in this way. Really? That's what it took for you to make that fucking connection? Oh, all right, let's move on. Demons seeing others and demons, I'm using that word just you don't have to get stuck on that word. Seeing others happy, not understanding it, because what's happy, unless it's feeding off of other people's misery, obviously they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it when people are high vibe and happy and yeah, they relish in the negativity and feed off of it. So that is something else is um they just don't understand because they don't feel it like that. Like same with humans, right? If they're just shitty, they don't experience true happiness. They don't ever really get this high vibrational state. It's and actually I heard that's enlightenment. Enlightenment is feeling light, and light being divine, I guess you could say, like the negative, the not the negative, the positive. Um, so that's interesting too, because you know what? If you feel energy and connect with any kind of mediumship, you can feel a difference. Like the negative stuff does feel heavy. It does feel heavy. It feels dark and heavy. And the lighter stuff actually physically feels lighter. If you can feel energy, you can feel a fucking difference. And even if it's not a mediumship thing, it's just an energy thing. When you're around people that are really positive and high vibe and all of that, it feels light, it feels happy, it feels good. If you're around the opposite of that, it feels dark, it feels heavy, it feels shitty. And I don't mean dark as in like, I like, gothic, dark academia, spooky vibes and shit like that. And I don't mean it in that kind of way. Like that, I see dark romance. I love that too. So maybe that doesn't add up for some people, but I don't mean it in that way. Okay. I wish that I knew of a way to explain this where it was really gonna just make sense for people, but I don't know if this is making sense, any of it. And so I'm sorry if it's not. But I really just wanted to kind of open up this topic and conversation. And if you do have questions or any kind of inquiries, or you want me to cover something that I didn't talk about, but you're really interested in me talking about, or if I need to elaborate on something, let me know. Put it in the comments and through my website, vikingwitch.shop. If anything changes, it's going to be in the show notes. But you can send it through contact form there as well. I'm not going to say anyone's names or handle or anything like that. It's going to be anonymous because I just I value privacy. So I will keep it anonymous. But there you go. Or if you just want, any kind of topic requests, or you have your own just questions that have nothing to do with this particular topic, because I cover a lot of freaking topics here and I will cover a hell of a lot more. This is just the very, very beginning. In fact, if I had more time, I would be putting out a lot more episodes than one a week because I have lists, okay? Lists of topics already that I want to talk about, including space of just that random moment of like, you know what, I actually want to talk about this instead today. So if I ever get more time, I will be putting out more than one a week. But basically, fire away if you have questions, suggestions, whatever. Um, but yeah, I do have to go, unfortunately. So I don't know that if this was anything helpful at all or interesting or whatever, but it is definitely something that I could and will be discussing more in different ways. But in closing, I just want to remind you that you do have free will, and that is powerful in itself. And you do hold a lot of power. And hopefully that gives you hope. I said that weird, but I don't want you to feel hopeless in any capacity because you do hold a lot of power, okay? And if you are in a really bad headspace, if you are struggling with your mental health, if you are just, life is hard, okay? So if you're going through it, reach out for support. If you feel like you've got demons, reach out for support. If you feel like anything is off and you just need to do some self-care, then do it, okay? If it just takes turning on a YouTube video for grounding or a meditation technique, something that looks really good to you and would feel good for you, take that time to do it. You are so worth it. Take the time to do something great for yourself and bring your vibes back up or up for the first time. And it's not always possible to get rid of negative people in our lives, but it is possible to try to take our own fucking power back and do whatever we can to be empowered and to do things to keep us protected and shield ourselves, raise our vibrations. Maybe it's just listening to great music and dancing around in your fucking underwear. I don't know, like whatever you're into. And connecting with nature, animals, plants. What is going to bring you some happiness? What is going to help raise your vibrations? You know what? Get you some toys, some adult toys. That can help. Let me also be clear because I didn't mention it, but since we're talking about demons and shit like that, um, sex is not inherently evil. It's not a bad thing. Oh, I don't have enough time to really go into how warped that is and how weaponized that became. But it is a very sacred thing when it is done in a sacred way. I will never understand hookup culture, but if that's your thing, try to be careful. But orgasms are obviously going to raise your vibrations and make you feel good, right? So, hey, give yourself a little fun. Or if you are with a partner, there you go, raise your all's vibrations. I will be doing more episodes on just sexual topics too. But for now, just know it's not evil, it's not bad, and it can raise your vibrations and make you feel good, and all the things can be so healing on so many different levels and in so many different ways. But anyway, I guess that's all for now. And hopefully, I'll see you next time. But thank you for being here. Check the show notes for links. And until next time, and hopefully, you'll be back. Take care of yourself, okay? Take care of yourself. You're worth it. If you need to reach out for help, reach out for help. I do also on my website have hotline numbers, but I don't know where you live. So they are national and to the US, but check your locals or wherever you're at if that is where you're at with things. But at the very least, reach out to a trusted friend and do things to help yourself as well. You know what's healthy, what's not healthy, and I also gave some suggestions on here. So please take care of yourself, okay? Ooh, salt bath. That's also great. Okay, anyway, sorry. I gotta go. Bye.